Good afternoon, Jamie. How are we today?
Good. I just can't believe we made it to Wednesday already. We're halfway.
A Wednesday halfway, but we are fifth, sixth of the way. We're
Yes.
getting 5 weeks out of six. Kind of very cool. Now, here's the thing. One thing I'm super excited about is this goal setting thing. Tell me a little bit more. You asked the question. What did you learn?
Yeah, we asked a question to the group about the goal setting tool, and if they want to see something like what we've been sending out for the surveys to everybody in the Iowa Diabetes portal. And we had 26 people respond to the question, and 17 said that they would most likely use it.
It's good to hear. By the way, that's a super selected sample out of the 200 we started with. But
Yep.
nonetheless, that gives us some motivation to move forward. By the way, guys, as you are joining, please come in, say hello, say your name, where are you from? It's just exciting to be here today. And there's a lot to talk about today. This is a topic almost never gets covered, like stress. Who wants to talk about stress? Nobody, perhaps. Who has stress? Everybody has stress. And I think it's almost part of being alive is stress. So that's
Yep.
kind of cool.
I think as I talk with patients in the past, it's something that they're always telling me that they're struggling with. Increased stress over the last week, and they weren't able to focus on those things that they have to do to take care of themselves because stress was getting in the way. Hey, Cassie. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Rohan. Thanks for guys joining us again. I'm seeing a lot of the familiar faces. Michael, Tyler, Eugene, welcome. Um, so I do want to bring up the survey that we initially sent out.
Well, let me
Uh,
do this one thing before you go there. Let me just begin. It's one. Do you want to wait it until we come there? Or is this something you wanted to show right now?
yeah, right now.
Okay.
So in the initial survey that we sent out, we asked like, what would be some things that you guys would do to help reduce your stress? And these are just things that those that were trying to work on stress were tell us that they would be interested in. So, 50% of the people walking. A lot of people said reading. I'm in that path. Reading and listening to music would be the two ways that I would really do it. Getting a massage would be great. If I dare go out right now. And then, socializing with friends and doing crafts. So I thought this was a great list and some very interesting points.
All right. Well, let's get started. It's 1 p.m. today. Here we are today. So here's the thing. There was a survey done by the American Psychological Association, APA, and it reported a 10% increase just between these 2 years, 2019 and 2020. So they ran a big survey and a scoring system, and the stress level was 10% higher. The reasons for increased stress were not surprising. Health, worrying about the finances. One thing that was kind of interesting was that it actually the government response to the corona, 7 out of 10 people responded that was another thing. So I think many different stressors, and 2020 was lemon of a year, as somebody said in Super Bowl. So it was crazy and definitely a lot of stress, and that's what we want to focus on today. So I'm Dr. B, just in diabetes for 25, 26 years. Love it, enjoy it. Everything I do is related to diabetes. So glad to have all of you here. Stacy, Vicky, hello everyone. All right, so my partner in crime will be Jamie, but here's the other thing. You get a better bargain today. But from me and my better half will be here to talk about stress and meditation. She's a Reiki master, and Vimmi will be here joining us for a few moments as well. So we will get started. Jamie, back to you. See how you want to do today.
Yeah. I just wanted to review how things have been going over the last week. So, those of you again that have turned in the survey, majority of you responded that you are on track this week. 70% said that they met their goal over this last week. And I think that's absolutely amazing, you guys. Keeping up with the progress, keep up the good work. We are your cheerleaders for you. So, great job. Some of the biggest barriers this last week, somebody said having soda in the house, going out to eat more often, interruptions, time. And somebody also said they finally were convinced that they don't like walking for exercise. So if soda is your weakness, don't have it in your house. Same thing for me. Potato chips, chips are my weakness. I don't bring them in the house because I know I will consume them. Don't have them in there, and it's when you're doing the shopping and preparing that can really help you set up for success.
So, Jamie, that's where my weakest link theory comes in, right? What's the weakest link in any of these places? Like the bag of potato chips lying on the table, it will be consumed. But if it wasn't there, it wasn't bought, it won't be. Soda, same thing. Just don't buy it. So, how do you do that? Well, if you go with a list beforehand and an empty stomach, a full list and a full stomach. Sorry, not empty. Full list, full stomach. If you go grocery shopping like that, it will help. So that's my two new things today: my
Yep.
weakest link theory and the full list, full stomach theory.
And the one that said they finally were convinced they don't like walking for exercise. Find something that's fun for you. There's so many different ways to exercise. I used to think I could only exercise and the best routine was running. And I absolutely I loved running for a couple of years. And then I just, after becoming a mom, just started hating running. But I thought that was the only way I could get a good workout. I changed up my routine. I got some fun activities in the mix, and now I want to work out most days because I found something that I truly enjoy. So you've got to find that activity for you.
Jamie, there is at least three people talking about the cold weather. What cold
Mhm.
weather? Oh, of course, there's cold weather. It's really cold, and it'll be like this for next 10 days. So, Michael, Casey, yes, of course. Here's the thing. Two things I'll say. This morning, my dog made me go out, and she did. It was so serene. Oh my God, it was beautiful. So that was like meditation by itself, even though it was forced upon by a dog. Second thing, in these cold weathers, we have to have an alternate plan, whether it's just going up and down the stairs, walking in the house, walking. Right now, we are walking inside our short hallway at work. So just think about things that you can still do. There's always an option.
Um, the other thing that came across as I asked some of the people, what is their win for the week? You guys can respond. Tell me what your win for the week was. Some of the things that came across on the survey were I ate more vegetables this past week than I have any other time period. And having the vegetables on hand really helped. So awesome. Doubled the amount of exercise from 1 day to 2 days. And somebody else said that they increased their exercise to 3 days a week, which is great. And they did it using, and this is the resource I wanted to pass on, using Deron, Deron, from Grow Young Fitness. It's an online program. So those of you that are being stressed out by the cold weather, looking for exercise options, one of our own viewers suggested that as a resource for you guys.
Good to
So
know.
check it out. Vicky says the sun is shining, and yes, I'm with you. Vitamin D, the sun is shining. It does make me feel better too. Even though it's cold, I like it when the sun is out. Oh,
So Kathy's going through some painful things
yeah.
herself, and what you're doing is the right thing, and right things are harder to do. So all the best for that. I think it'll take some time and effort and energy to get out of it, but you are doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm. And there's so many people dealing with lots of different situations like that right now. And that's adding to the stress of, on top of the normal daily life, the quarantining and isolating. Yeah.
By the way, Casey did finish her 28-day workout challenge, so that's cool.
That's a
That's
great win, Casey. That's
yeah.
awesome. Dr. B, there was a question that somebody wanted addressed on dealing with emotional eating. So what suggestions do you have for those out there that are struggling with that?
Sure. So I think it's very common. I have the same issue in the evenings. So there's kind of just think about what happens in emotional eating. There's a certain emotion. An emotion is typically triggered by an outside event and something else that happens. So how do we manage those triggers is the key thing. We could, of course, manage and cope with those triggers by eating, but we could also cope by taking a walk outside, by exercising, by distracting ourselves, by reading a good book or listening. So I think managing your trigger, if the trigger don't happen, that's great. If the trigger happens, then using a different alternate thing that is equally enjoyable. And lastly, in emotional eating, what do you eat is the last part. And if you don't have those foods that can raise your sugars too high or add a lot of weight, don't have them at home. So I think of it again as a chain, a trigger, a response to the trigger, whether that's eating or something else, and then what we eat. So those are some suggestions. Hopefully that will help.
Another question from the audience was, how much water should somebody actually drink in one day? And I actually am working on this as a goal for me this week. So I had this answer ready to go. You take your weight and you divide that by 2, and that is going to equal the number of ounces you should drink per day. So if you are 140 pounds, you drink 70 ounces per day. Dr. B, anything else from you on that one?
Oh, and then 70 ounces, you just have to divide by 8 for someone like me who doesn't know what an ounce is. To say 70 divided by 8, so that's 9 cups or glasses a day. Essentially, you divide your weight by 16 to get the number of glasses. So harder math, but at least I know what a glass is.
Another question. We've got somebody who just started a Libre and was telling us that they found that the Libre is not as accurate in the first 24 hours that you apply it. And yes, that is very true. The Freestyle Libre, if you guys are using it, in the first, I think it actually is 10 to 12 hours that you have that on, it is recommended that you double check every single one of your readings with a finger stick. Now, you can do it with a separate glucometer and test strips, but the Libre actually is a monitor in itself, and you can purchase test strips. I'm forgetting what the test strip name is right now. But
Freestyle, it has to be one of the Freestyle brands.
It's Freestyle.
But which one? Okay.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. And there's a certain test strip that you buy for it, and it will actually fit in your sensor. So it can serve as its own glucometer, and then you know it's very accurate and is very similar to the reading that you've got. So yes, that will happen. And then they were saying that, you know, the sensor that was dispensed they got it in January, but it's actually going to expire by the end of February. And it just depends on how long those sit on the shelf. It goes through several different stops on the way to getting to you in the at your home. So it's going into probably 1 or 2 stops in between, even going to the pharmacy and then from the pharmacy to you. So it could be that you've got that expiration. I would either reach out to your pharmacy who dispensed it or reach out to Freestyle Abbott. There's a number on the box. Let them know the situation that you're in, and they'll replace it for you, because they do not want you using an expired sensor.
All right, Jamie, the few people are talking about the water. It's too hard to drink, or like Vicky and Carla say, might be floating. So it is hard, but just remember, many times people mistake their thirst for hunger, and vice versa. So if you're hungry, try to drink water. I mean, water, tea, coffee, those 3 are good. Rest, not as good. Between those 3, if you can do something, maybe flavored water with natural flavors and not synthetic ones. Those are some things to think about. All right. I think we have a lot to cover. I think there's one more thing you want to say, comments, and then we can go into the meat of the stress.
Yeah, and I'll let you take this one. I've got the comment pulled up, Dr. B. But there were some things that this was feedback that we got in the survey that we wanted to just share with the entire group.
So I think this is cool. Thank you, first of all, whosoever shared, that's fantastic. The idea of whatever gets measured improves. I should be taking my blood sugars prior to meals and bedtime. And knowing that information changes behavior. So that's cool. And the fact that I think a CGM would be amazingly helpful. I wanted to highlight that too. In Super Bowl, Nick Jonas talked about Dexcom sensor. It's really very helpful to have the sensor. Not only tells you your sugar, but it also improves behavior. The last thing I wanted to emphasize in this was really cool. Made my day and probably Jamie's day. I'm changing my behavior because of Wednesdays and the Facebook group. So we are happy we are part of that on Wednesdays. We will be done next week, and we'll go to our natural rhythm of every week. But here's the thing, you guys have now developed a community. Just help each other out. Even today, when someone had the issue with the COVID, I saw no sympathy. So that's really cool. Keep
Yeah.
this group going, keep this very active, become champions in the group, post more, and so forth. That's all I wanted to say. But really great comment, made our day.
And we will be bringing back some of the goal setting things. We will be touching on it. It's not just going to be done after this. So yes, we're going to keep doing it, but we've got some specific programming even after this 6-week challenge over, kind of bringing back the goals throughout the years. So we are not done yet.
Connie has a question. I read that caffeine may not be good for patients with diabetes. So it depends. There have been studies published in JAMA 15 years ago, like a certain amount of coffee consumption reduces the risk of diabetes. Now, people with diabetes, what impact does caffeine have? I mean, in general, you don't want to do too much. First of all, 1, 2 servings a day is what I would recommend. The type of source matters a lot. So if it's coffee, tea, I'm okay with that. If it's diet pop and regular pop, I'm totally against it. So in general, we can't say one thing is good or bad. It's the quality and quantity of your caffeine that matters.
Yep. And then I was just going to say, we have an entire article that we wrote about this. So do check out our blog on this. We do talk about specifically coffee and diabetes, but we address some of the caffeine issue in that as well. So Dr. B, when is it the most beneficial time to take metformin?
So the main reason why you want to think about food with that is you should have some food in your stomach. So 30 minutes before may not be ideal. I just say with food. Jimmy, what do you tell your patients?
With food, if they really have a hard time where it causes upset stomach, I actually say take it at the end of the meal so that they have food already in their stomach. Yeah. I do.
And I'm drinking hot tea. So water alone is for my throat. But thank you for pointing it out. Yes, of course.
I've
Yeah.
got mine as well. Yeah. So, Vicky, I like your idea of the Crystal Light for your packs of water. I think that is a very good option that many people with diabetes take advantage of. So, I've got a poll for you guys. I want to know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much stress do you experience on a daily basis?
10 being the highest, the super highest you can imagine, and 1 like, man, life is good. I don't have any stress. What's stress?
Yeah. 1, stay in bed all day. Let us know. But as you guys do that, I can start talking about what is actually stress. So stress, most people recognize the feelings of it. It's emotional and physical tension that can come from an event or a thought. It kind of makes you frustrated, angry, or nervous. And I can see that you guys are experiencing it. I see some people, I saw 110 on there, which I am sorry that you're at a 10. That's got to be a lot to deal with. We've got Morgan saying a 6, Eugene a 3, Roxanne 3. We've got some 4s. Connie's at 5. So I would say 3 to 5 on average. A lot of people are saying.
There are some 7, 8s, by the way, as well. So
Yep, I just scrolled down.
my statistical highlight will give you a 5.65. Just kidding. Maybe around 6 on an average. Yeah.
So anything above, I mean, I would say 6, 7, 8, you're starting to get really high amounts of stress. And we've got to start talking about what is it actually doing to your body. So stress on a short-term basis is actually a very good response that we want our body to have. It's called the fight or flight response. And it's to help us really deal with a short-term situation, concentrate more, get our body ready to fly away as fast as possible. So there are a lot of hormones that are released during that process to make us react to that stressor really fast. What happens though, nowadays, we get those long-term chronic stressors, and those are what we're worried about that can have a lot of effects on us emotionally and physically. So physically, it it will start to wear and tear on your body. And there's some studies that show that it actually can cause this low level of inflammation in your body. And that low level of inflammation in your body is really what puts you at risk for some chronic diseases like heart attacks and strokes. So it is something to be concerned about, but it has been associated to increase your blood pressure. It can make you feel like your heart is racing, make you feel exhausted all of the time, have trouble sleeping. It will make you have problems with motivation, where you're just not motivated to work or try to avoid work. And it can lead to problems with clenching of the jaw and muscle tensions. Emotionally, you're going to feel anxiety. You could feel signs of depression and low mood and panic attacks. So it really can start to wear and tear and just bring your overall well being down. And so that is why we wanted to address a lot of it today. We're not going to fix all the problems today. We're just going to start talking about it and try to give you guys tools to help make improvements to it. So at this point, we want to ask you guys, what are some things, and you can say activities or types of stress that you feel? What are some things that cause you to feel stressed?
So please type in, and while they're doing that, I'll tell you my stress. If I have too many things at the same time, that stresses me out. If somebody's waiting for me that's I was supposed to give to them, that stresses me out. Uh, those are kind of the things that come to my mind, more work related. Relationships are super important to me. So if relationships are not going well, that stresses me out. So that's kind of mine. Jamie, what about yours?
I have a lot of work stressors when I feel overwhelmed with the activities that I'm responsible for. I actually start to almost like draw away, and get that unmotivated feeling because I just feel overwhelmed by everything. And then I feel like the typical mother, that the working mother that has a lot of responsibilities at home, taking care of kids, helping out with house, and all of the work responsibilities that I have. So it a lot falls on everybody's plate.
So Jamie is indirectly saying I'm part of the cause of her stress. But I do keep giving her more things to do. So, got it, Jamie. Right in front of everyone. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. All right, let's see what I think people are talking about: job,
Yeah.
people at the job, illness with family members, relationships, balancing work, school, life, kind of that balance, health, again, relationships, an exciting event coming up. So a lot of different stressors. What we wanted to do is talk about some specific things. Job, job is a hard one. One thing I would say at a very foundational level, if you are in a job that you love, like the kind of work, if you're in the field that you are super passionate about, in my mind, a lot of stress goes away. If there are certain things you can fix at work, be assertive. You don't have to be aggressive. You don't have to be passive. If you're assertive and voice your opinion and make sure people are listening to you, that should help with the work side of things. Again, can be fixed, but these are some general things. And changing jobs. I don't think there's a job in this world that will pay you enough for you to be miserable 8 hours or 12 hours a day. So think about those things. Begin with the basics and think of that extreme end. Relationships, I think it's a hard one. And I'll tell you, my thinking in relationships is that a time is a necessary condition, but not sufficient for a good relationship. And I think this day and age, because we have so many things to do, and I'll tell you the number one relationship killer in my mind right now is screen, the one I'm staring at right now. My kids were doing some research. Two of them are doing this Lego League thing, and they were doing some research, and they said an average American adult right now spends 13 hours a day on screen. 13 hours. Then when do you meet people? When do you get with yourself? Of course, 8 hours you sleep. So you really are cramming everything else into 3 hours a day. So get rid of the screens. I think that's a big stressor, which we don't realize. There's a one that I think too many things, too many choices. I want to speak about that, my personal experience. I grew up in India. For toothpaste, I had two choices: Colgate and Four Hands. All I had to do go to the shop and said, "Give me this or give me that one." When in '96 I came to U.S. in Dayton, Ohio, I remember going to buy a toothpaste, and I had stress because I saw too many things then. So choices can be stressful. Having choices is good. It's freedom, but it can be very stressful. So think about, are all these choices necessary? The last thing I'll say on this, I am sure Jamie, you have things to say. Generally, like Stephen Covey's idea of focusing on your circle of influence, making it larger and larger, doing things that are in your influence and forgetting the things that are in your circle of concern. And somebody mentioned, like Cindy, talking about this argument about politics and impeachment and all that. That's in our circle of concern, but there's really nothing I can do about it. So if I can focus on circle of influence and limit my choices, that might help. But anyway, those were some things. Jamie, are there other things that specifically you want to talk? Or I know later down we talk about stress in general,
Mhm.
but stress for specific stressors. Are there other things you want to talk about?
Yeah, the general thing that I think as I deal with my stress is what can I control? I can't, so I'm faculty member at Drake. I teach. I cannot control what students think about me. I cannot control what patients think about me. I can control how I think about myself. So it's stuff like that that I try to view, so that I know what I'm doing and how I can deal with that. So I look at about my focus of control. It sounds very similar to what you were talking about, Dr.
Yeah.
B, with your circle of concern versus what my circle of influence, I think is what you called it.
Excellent. I think there's a lot of stressors. We'll talk more about it, but let's bring it closer to diabetes for a moment. I really want to talk about stress. Stress has a value in life. It gets us ready for tough events. So there is value. Acute stress has value. Chronic stress does not have value. So then that's where I want to bring the connection back to diabetes. So when there's stress, the body is using more of these hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, and so forth. Again, in the short run, they're good. They're the fight and flight hormones. In the long run, they are not. And these hormones will increase your sugars. These hormones will depress your mood. These hormones chronically will affect things like blood pressure. Here's an example of how increased stress. Why do heart attacks happen more in the early morning hours, 6 to noon? Well, a lot of reasons, but increased stress, increased hormones. Your blood pressure can go higher with stress. When you are stressed, also think about that you're not going to follow your active behaviors, focus on nutrition and activity. Your sugars will be higher. And then we're talking about the chronic complications of diabetes that we must avoid. So, eye disease, kidney disease, and nerve damage. As we know, diabetes is the leading cause of blindness in the United States, leading cause of people going on dialysis, and leading cause of um, foot amputation in US apart from trauma. So when you know that these chronic complications, then I think these chronic complications are related, of course, to high sugars, but also how we cope with diabetes and the stress. And I'll tell you, I'm very guilty of not talking about stress and social determinants of health when we meet people. We really focus just on what are your sugars? These are your medications. And we got to do a better job as healthcare professionals to give you more help managing stress and coping with diabetes. And that's some of the work we are trying to do in our team approach to handling people with diabetes. So overall, I know I'm stressing you out now with talking about all these bad things about diabetes. The thing I want to say is that all the stress, let's move to the next section quickly, which in one sense you've already answered previously. Let's move to not stress itself, but what can you do to help with stress or deal with stress? So let's talk about that. Casey talks about, does yoga help with stress? Absolutely. Yoga is kind of pretty amazing in many ways. There is so much we don't know about yoga, but apart from the stretching, it does. I was taught by Jen, who has done many sessions with us. Hey, it's not just about stretching; it's about breathing. And there's something very powerful about breathing. And we'll see the power of that in just a few minutes when the better Bhargava comes in and talks about that. So, yoga, deep breathing do help. But, Jimmy, let's talk in general. Tell the group what kind of things you think generally will help with any of the
Yeah.
stressors as opposed to specific things.
And I want them to chime in too. So I have a
Hmm.
poll up. So, what are some of the things that they do? So, what are you guys doing to deal with your stress? What are activities or thoughts or mantras that go through your brain that help you? I can tell you what I do. For me, I told you about the mantra of I try to really think through a situation that's making my blood boil and what can I control in that situation and make plans about it. But activities that I do probably two activities on almost a daily basis. I do a workout, some sort of exercise or activity, and I also read. And those are kind of my relaxation, my bring everything together, um, kind of my me time, I guess I would say that really helped me disconnect and de stress. How about you, Dr. B?
Well, I think you talked earlier about music. I think that's super powerful. It's such an important thing. So I have Spotify, and there'll be music going on around me all the time. Not only for stress, but more I use it for focus or energy. So music, huge. I think relationships, going on a long walk with friends, just out in nature. Being in nature is super helpful, guys. Don't underestimate the power of being out in the nature. Relationships, like recently I got a quote: Time is too little to be wasted with people you don't like or love." Right. So be with the right people. I think eating right, in our culture and religion, there's a lot of talk about what you put in your mouth has such an impact. So eating the right things, less processed food, major impact. One of the things I remember is laughter. And somebody had a comment earlier about laugh, ha ha ha. And actually in India, there are people who in the early morning, they would go to the park and laugh out together. That activity itself has an impact in changing the stress level and hormone levels. There are some comments coming out, so I'd like to. There's a lot, so I would like to just run through those, Jamie, quick.
I agree.
Um, I think somebody talked about getting lost in a movie or book, and that's great. Morgan did say something that's important. I've never been able to get into yoga. So just let me, I was walking at Raccoon River Park. One of the most relaxing places I know is Raccoon River Park in West Des Moines. And I was walking there, and I had a chair behind my back, and it was hung there. And this lady comes to me, "Are you here for yoga?" She thought I had a yoga mat. And I wasn't, and I hadn't yoga for 20 years, but I was able to do it that morning. So I think yoga is for anyone. You can start anywhere. I like shopping online, but not buying. But yeah, I don't have that discipline, by the way. I see long walk, workout. Grandson, that's beautiful. 15-year-old Thomas, that's great. Knitting, guitar, exercise, pray and meditate, deep breathing. There are apps now which will make you pause and say, breathe. So don't ignore those apps. There's value to deep breathing. Chewing, not gun, but gum, I take it. Uplifting music, absolutely. Bible study, listen to music, talking with friends, family, great suggestions. Subha, daily meditation and exercise. And then just nothing is permanent in life. I like Cindy's quote: nothing is permanent in life. I see gathering with friends, the laugh yoga, kayaking. There's just valuable suggestions here. So let's go into one of these activities. But Jamie, what other things would you recommend before we go into a fun, relaxing activity today?
I think in addition to eating right, getting enough sleep. I know it sounds maybe backwards, especially if your stress is time based, but making sure that you are taking that time for yourself, get to eat right, to get enough sleep, and to do your activities will actually help you become better for those around you. Whereas if you ignore those self-care needs, you may not function quite as well and may not be able to give your 100% that you can give or need to give to those around you. So making sure you take that time for yourself is important. I think you said you hit it off with the humor or laugh it off.
Sure.
Make fun, have fun. You've got to do that. Just instantly, I just smiled and my blood pressure, I felt it go down. Focus on what you can control. Talk it out. So my husband, he's my confidant. I talk a lot of things out with him. He hears about my students. He hears about work here. He hears about work at Drake. And he may not know
Talking about me is good, by the way, just so that you
everything.
talk about me. Yeah,
Everything.
it's all good.
And then also prioritization. So Dr. B, you talked about
That's my favorite.
you've got to think about your priorities in life. I have my priorities in life laid out, and I make sure I stick to those.
Yeah, I think again, Stephen Covey kind of, you are the creator. You are the creator of your life, your career, your destiny, all of that. Be proactive. Know that you are the owner of your own life, destiny, time, and schedule. And then putting first things first and begin with the end in mind. The first three habits of Stephen Covey are exceptional, very, very powerful, and can really eliminate a lot of choices and help you prioritize in the right way.
And Kathy, I see, can't sleep sometimes due to stress. I get that as well. I'll wake up in the middle of the night. My thoughts are racing. And I try to do some different activities. And again, it just depends on my mood on which one's successful. Sometimes I'll actually read a relaxing book. Sometimes I will practice some of the mindful meditations that I've learned throughout the years to try to de-stress my mind, stop it from racing, and get myself resettled back in. So hopefully we can teach you some of that stuff here. I think we're getting ready to bring in Vimmi.
Yeah, so let me do the intro. All right, so I've known her for 21 and a half years. By the way, today is our marriage anniversary too, so 21 years as well. So it's fun to have her here. And she and I are very different. Science and art, more, I'm perhaps most times more logical. She's more into the people stuff, emotional stuff. So it's just a delight to have her here. She has several masters, including one in dance, masters in Reiki, and also, she has done a lot of sessions for us at the office on mindfulness and deep breathing. So let's bring her on and let's spend the next few minutes actually de-stressing together.
Happy anniversary, both of you, now that I have you both on screen.
Oh, thank you. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thanks for joining and spending your beautiful day, beautiful part of your life and learning to de-stressing and detoxifying yourself. Stress is a big toxic product that we all take in every minute, every second of our lives, and we keep it in, and it later on returns us back with some diseases, with lifelong diseases, lifelong challenges that we have to face. So early on, when you're spending your time today, starting today, you have set that foot in learning how to de-stress yourself, how to make sure you're not inhaling all the toxic things, the toxic emotions, toxic feelings, and taking it within yourself and not burying in your body as diseases. So today I'll be doing a little short session about some breathing, and we can learn more and more activities later on. So I don't know what's your setting like, if you are in a public setting or you are in a private setting. I will be playing little music here, and I will be asking you to sit in a comfortable position. If you have a chair or mat or anything, find yourself comfortably seated. And please switch your phones or any device on a silent mode. And find yourself with closed eyes. Please take your time to close your eyes. Now that your eyes are closed, hear from your ears. Hear the music that is being played. Hear the noises that are surrounding you. Hear the instrument being played. Hear the birds chirping outside. Say thanks to all the noises that are disturbing you. Say welcome to all the noises that are healing you. With your closed eyes, vision yourself doing what's coming next. Say thanks to all the meetings that are coming next. Say thank you for all the work that you have put aside that you need to do next. Now visualize yourself in a serene place. Bring your thoughts, bring your focus to yourself. See yourself completely relaxed. Bring your focus to your nose. Feel the air that you are inhaling. See the air going in to your nose, to your lungs, to your diaphragm. See your belly button raising high up. And as you exhale, see that belly button going in and exhale from your mouth. Let's do this once again. Please keep your eyes closed. Inhale from the nose. Feel the air going into your lungs, to your heart, to your diaphragm. See that belly button up. And exhale from your mouth and see the belly button going down. Keep your eyes closed. Inhale one more time. Get their air in. It's fresh, it's clean. Belly button up. Exhale that air from your mouth forcefully. It's like inhale again. Keep your eyes closed. And exhale forcefully. Inhale again. Keep your eyes closed. Exhale forcefully. Keep your eyes closed. Breathe normally. Bring your focus to the lungs that are doing the important work for you. Bring your focus to the heart that's pumping clean blood every second to all the parts of your body. Say thanks to your heart. Bring your focus to the spleen, liver, pancreas for doing important work for you, pumping more blood, giving you more insulin when needed, giving you the right amount of insulin when needed. Say thank you to the spleen, thank you to the liver, thank you to your pancreas. Keep your eyes closed, focus on your breathing, and breathe normally. Inhale in and exhale out. Inhale in, exhale out. Free yourself from any burdens. Free yourself of all the emotions that are bothering you. Say bye-bye to them. Bring all the good work for you. Bring all the positive vibrations for you. Bring all the appreciations that you deserve. You are very, very appreciated around your family members, around your workers, around your co-workers, around the strangers, around your community. You are very appreciated in the nature. Say thanks to Mother Earth. Say thanks to the trees. Say thanks to the birds. Say thanks to the animals. Bring your focus to your knees, your ankles, your elbows, your hands that are supporting you, that are supporting your thoughts. You are so well appreciated. Mother Earth loves you. Say thank you to the universe. Bring your focus to your breathing. Keep your eyes closed. Inhale. Breathe in the good air, the appreciation, the kindness, the well-being. And exhale. Breathe in again. And exhale. Say thank you to the universe. You may now gently open your eyes and come back.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. So this is just a little thing that you guys can do for yourself, for your own benefit. Once you benefit yourself, you can start benefiting others. You can spread it. It's a chain reaction. And the chain reaction has to start from within yourself. And there are other ways that you can also do mindful meditation. The part that we did was just relaxation. Relaxation is a part of meditation. Meditation is a bigger way of smaller relaxation. And Reiki is another meditation that I am a master of, and I can teach Reiki, and we can set up appointments and we can learn more in different sessions, other sessions, or you can contact the office and we can learn more about that.
There's a lot of comments coming in, Vimmi, if you're able to see them. They're all saying how relaxed and how lovely that was. So I again echo, thank you so much. I'm feeling very good.
Thank you.
And yeah, if you guys want to contact us, we can get you in touch. We know how to get in touch with Vimmi. So you can either send a message or give us a call here at the office. And we'll get you in touch with Vimmi. Looking at things for the next week, we are wanting to continue with this challenge, and we want to know and see what you guys do for a healthy stress reducing activity. So take a picture of you doing something that helps you relieve stress. Take a picture of you reading a book or listening to music, or maybe doing a mindful meditation for a couple of minutes. Do one of these activities and take some time for yourself this week, and then post it to the Facebook group. As a reminder, continue to fill out the surveys. We will have another one sent out next Tuesday. And join us next week for our last video for the Facebook challenge, our last Changing Diabetes 2021. So we're excited to review the next topic with you guys. We are down to 11 people who have completed all the challenges so far. Here's a list of who we have. If you think you've completed the challenges, please let us know if you don't see your name on this list. But otherwise, this is who we've kind of accounted for as we've gone through things. Next week, we're going to be talking about making smarter resolutions. And we're going to really be focusing on the ER of smarter and trying to focus to see if we can help you be one of the 7% that stick with your resolution through the entire year.
Excellent. Well, I was so relaxed that you actually will sense that my voice tone and everything is so different now. So first of all, thank you for the relaxation in the middle of the day. Very powerful, and really, there's hardly a moment you take for yourself. So that was fantastic. I think I enjoyed it. Let's bring this home. Key takeaways. So maybe, Vimmi, what is your one key message for this group? If you wanted us to remember one thing, what's that one thing?
Whatever you want to do for others, you start it yourself. So if you want to change your life, you first must be willing to change your mind. And that's what Buddha said too. Mind is very powerful. It creates us, and it can take us away from us.
Cool. From my side, Jamie, what you got? I have a couple of things to say, but what's your take home today?
Mine is just a reminder that stress is out there. You guys answered that you are dealing with stress on a daily basis, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the scale of 10. And you've got to make sure that you have a way to deal with that stress so that it is not affecting your diabetes and your long-term health.
For me, stress is always going to be there. It's part of being alive. We can't eliminate stress. We can deal with stress better. We talked about some general strategies today and some specific strategies for different stressors. The main thing, though, I would say, if I had one thing to leave with for today, I say reduce choices in life through prioritization. Reduce the number of things, relationships, people, activities, things you have in your life. Reduce that based on your priority. And I think you'll see a sea change in your stress. With that, we bring this to home. Dennis will take care of your comments. Somebody will reach out or they're talking to you right now. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining. It has been fantastic. And we'll see you next week at the same time for bringing it all home together. It has been one fantastic journey.